Hello everybody, welcome back, good morning. We're going to talk about, that's right, you've guessed by the thumbnail, XRP. So we're going to think about XRP on both Tether and Bitcoin. And we'll finish with a bit of overall market vibes. And if you want to join the Patreon, we do live streams twice a week, one of which is tonight. Right then, let's get stuck in. So we're going to, let's start, I'll tell you what, we'll start on the weekly and we'll work our way down, because there is a story to tell on each time frame. So it's kind of relatively simple. You've had these sort of death wicks, these liquidation wicks, these liquidity grabs to the downside that take us all the way down to 42 cents. We've had that twice, here and here. XRP is very wicky. I put a lot of that down to the fact that it's used as collateral as well, with huge volumes of margin trading. So perhaps that's it. It behaves and looks like a shitcoin, really. And a lot of people might agree that that's all it is, which is fine. I can get it. I completely see that. When you have all these other charts and setups and trades that yield really big moves, you know. And then we have XRP, which on occasion does do it. You know, we got this one. You know, I think we got a couple of these as well. So we've managed to trade some of these, but generally it's pretty underwhelming. For the moment, like I strongly believe that it won't be indefinitely underwhelming, but it certainly is for the moment. People forget about structure, chart structure. So if we think about the structure of the chart, it's not actually that bad. You know, it's actually good. You know, it might not be a billion X, but it's still holding its structure. So we've scraped these lows at the bottom of the bear market. These lows, we base it on the majority of wicks and candles, takes us down to about 32 cents, which is a realistic target, I suppose, for you to put a buy order down there in the mid-30s, just in case all hell breaks loose in the markets, which it obviously could at any time. I always talk about the domino effect within any markets, but crypto especially. So look at an altcoin, you've got to think about that altcoin, you've got to think about Ethereum, you've got to think about Bitcoin, then you've got to think about stocks, you think about Forex, and dollar value, stuff like that. So you've got to look at all of the charts before really committing yourself dramatically to any chart within crypto, because there's many other charts that run behind it which are as important to its direction. You might have a great setup on a chart and then Bitcoin goes, nah. We know the drill, you've seen it before, you know. But if you're thinking about the chart structure on this one, let's just zoom out. So 32, we'll call it 32 cents. Had a nice big move up, came back down, slightly higher low, ever so slightly, to create higher highs, just about, and then we peaked around here, around the 90s. That's fine. Then we came straight back down. This is standard stuff for XRP, by the way. You know, big move up, consolidation, big move up, bang, big move up, bang, big move up, bang. You know, it's just the way that it works, really. But based on the weekly, and just focused only on the weekly, we're holding this one major area for the most part on candle bodies, which is sitting around 50 to 51 cents. So recognize that. So that's something you got to think about. That's your 200 exponential moving average on the weekly. The 200 simple moving average is all the way up here, which is a kind of a bizarre thing to see, really. So you got the 200 exponential, 200 simple. It is bizarre to see that, but that's what we've got. So major resistance at 59, major support down at 51. So, you know, effectively what we're living within a range here, a bot range, you know, if you want to call it that. 16%. I wouldn't advise putting a bot in on this one, to be fair, though. So that's your weekly. So if we move it down just to the 3-day, we also see the 200 simple moving average sitting here at 51 cents, which again, you know, it's not the best thing you've ever seen. We've had some reactions to it around here, so it is kind of relevant resistances as well, and some sort of attempt to remain above it. Again, you know, it's not the best thing you've ever seen, but it does exist. And again, it's coming in at that number again, 51 cents really. So between 50 and 51 cents, we've got major supports on higher term timeframes, which makes it deadly if we were to break down below it, because then we're talking 42 again, pretty easily. So futures trading, I'd say off the table for XRP. If anything, what we're looking to do is dollar cost average into it. If you want to buy it, I've got more than enough of it anyway. But if you haven't and you want to get some skin in the game, so major support 51, and then below that 40, 42, and then obviously the deepest, darkest price you'll find would be lower to mid 30s really. But so far we're holding. Now this is not a bullish chart. We've got an incoming death cross coming on exponentials moving averages. Probably take a couple of weeks for that to happen on the 3-day. And we're looking at momentum. We've got a break here, clear cut cross with 5 histograms in the green. So showing an attempt to build some momentum, but it's just not coming through. Same thing really. Would likely, actually no, it's not going to take place on the weekly at all. I don't know what I'm talking about. There is no momentum move there. However, on the daily, it's slightly different. We had the MACD cross here sort of creep up in an accumulation fashion. We've seen a lot of altcoins do this over the last week or two, which is why there is an argument to say that altcoins can pump still. And actually break out even. That is the truth. That is definitely the truth. XRP not being the greatest example of anything that's going to break out, but if we were to, you need to get back above your Bollinger Band, which again is 52.5 cents, and we're pushing that right now, so we're pretty much at resistance already, as well as being more or less at support. So it's rock and a hard place really. It's do or die. If we move up here on the daily, you've got the 200 exponential, so death cross retest basically up at 55.5, and the 200 simple, which is 57. So again, tight range, not much likely to take place really. If you were to move up, you'd expect a rejection. If you kind of come down, you'd expect a support. So not much going on really to report other than a potential accumulation. So we'll think about the 4-hourly then. So we're coming up right now to hit a death cross retest on the 4-hourly. So we had a fake out golden cross here, breakdown. This is going to be our first attempt to retest it, and again 52.5 cents really. If you break that, then there is a chance that we start to make our way back up to these upper levels that we've established on the daily. 55, 56, 57. All of those are definitely likely, but if we move ourselves back to the 4-hourly, the first major rejection exists basically at 52.5, which is more or less where we're at right now, more or less. So, as far as XRP is concerned, it's up to you if you want to zoom out and recognize that this could be accumulation. It could be accumulation. That's what it could be, but it may not be. It would be accumulation if and only if the rest of the market holds this level or moves higher, and then it gives us the opportunity to break out. Now, if we think about what we're looking at here, I'll just get rid of some of these lines. I know my charts are particularly messy, so I appreciate that. What we see here, if you think about this 200 exponential moving average, what we see is we've got ourselves a symmetrical triangle, more or less. It's more or less a symmetrical triangle. You could also call it a rising wedge, whichever way you want to call it. The idea is that it's not something you say, oh, this is bullish or bearish as of this very moment in time. It's more or less a 50-50 formation. I'll probably put it slightly in favour of a breakdown given the relationship to moving averages, really. So it is, I suppose, there is a bias to breaking down from this formation than breaking out. But it's only ever slight, it's very subtle, it's very slight. So we can't consider it a breakdown until we see closures below it. And again, the support being 51, 50 cents really, closures around there, you should and probably would be looking for continuation down, maybe into the 40s. But until then, we're still within the formation with a view to move back up, and the top of the formation again being 55.5 cents. If, and only if, we break out with conviction and close above all these daily moving averages, which should have to be above this 200 simple, which is 57, which again is highlighted on other charts like the 3-day, for instance, which is this 50 exponential as well, 55, and again the weekly as well, which is the Bollinger Band Center, 55.5, breaking above that 55.5, we'll call it 56, should have given it some power to maybe continue on. And it's only at that point do we start to extend our targets to all these millions of horizontals that we've got lined up on this chart, which are all highly relevant. And this is the problem with XRP. It's just full of resistance. And, as much as you can get excited from a breakout, you get rejected here, 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 and obviously even higher than that, as we did before. But I thought I'd make the video for you because there is opportunity, I suppose, that exists down here. And if we're talking about dollar cost averaging or layering into some kind of altcoins, and if XRP is something that you wanted, the right thing to do, you know, is to take yourself away from the day-to-day volatility and think, you know, a little bit further down the line. What is your expectation? What's your expectation with XRP? Do you think it's going to go higher over time, or do you think it's going to live down here? Remember what I said about the chart structure. You know, it's actually okay. You know, the lows are down here. We had a bit of a crazy move all the way up here, and again, this wasn't just completely random out of the blue. I mean, we managed to catch it. We did trade that, but you know, it wasn't born fully from. It wasn't born out of the technicals as such. It was more of the SEC situation, wasn't it, that caused that big pump. And so from that, you've had you're getting a consolidation, and XRP does consolidate for long periods of time, whether you're in a bull market or a bear market, really. So we've been consolidating now from this peak, and this is a weekly chart that we're looking at here, for almost a year since the last major high there. So, you know, I'd make the case that a consolidation as deep as it can go, it should really start to end, because the consolidation has gone on for almost as long as the low to the high. So normally you'd expect, you know, so this is 399 days, and this is about 320, 330 days. You'd normally expect a consolidation to be less time than the uptrend, and the uptrend wasn't that great. The downtrend has been quite neat. I'm just going to put it to you now that, you know, as much as I like XRP, you know, if I didn't have any of it right now, I would start the process of dollar cost averaging around the 50 to 51 cent zone. Another buy order down here at about 40, well, the wick low is down here at 42, but we've seen in the past that you come down to that level, you do spring up quite quickly. So you might want to front run that target, maybe around 44, 45 cents, just to get in on it. And if that fails and you come all the way down to square one, you should think, well, I'll tell you what, this is an opportunity anyway, down into the lower 30s, 32, 33, and again, you might want to front run that to maybe around 34, 35, just to get in on it. So we're not talking futures trading here, so don't go away putting in 10, 20, 100 X's on this. No, XRP can give decent setups and signals that will yield decent moves. That's how I've managed to get so much XRP over the years anyway, because it was and it has been pretty good for futures trading when the time is right. I wouldn't say this is the time is right. This is more of a stand back and make a plan. If you want this to be part of your portfolio, this is how you'd go about it. We can't make any, you know, bold predictions that it's going to spring out of here today, but if we were to, you know, sort of find this as the low, then Captain Hindsight would look back and go, well, obviously there is a 200 exponential here, which is held for the most part, you know, since the consolidation. Yeah, there's been wicks, but generally each weekly candle body has more or less, if not all of them, closed above the 52. So it gives idea. It gives the flavour of a potential bottoming area, a bottom area. I'm not saying it's the bottom, so I know that's going to get some criticism for that. I'm not saying that this is XRP's bottom. I'm saying all we have here is a chart, and in this chart all we have is supports and resistances, and if you're at a support and you wanted it, you would more or less buy that support, recognizing that we're slightly positioned to move down because of the death crosses across all time frames, and the majority of our moving averages being above us, offering nothing more than rejection. But if you really, really wanted it and you haven't got any, and you wanted to start getting in on it, you would start around that 51 cent zone. And I think, and again, this isn't anything other than thinking, I think that XRP will actually break out at some point down the line and give us one of these moves, probably a bigger one. I don't know what will cause it, I don't know why it would happen, but right now what we've got is a very slow and sluggish chart, which nobody ever wants to buy a slow and sluggish chart. People only want these, and I can tell you now, when XRP does start to do this again, everyone will be watching the videos, everyone will be making videos. Nobody will recognize that when the chart was down on its knees, sitting at support, that's when the opportunity presents itself. When the chart breaks out and goes crazy, that's when the opportunity that you've taken from the lows becomes nothing more than an opportunity to sell to those who want to buy and FOMO, which is not what you want to do. You buy the charts when they're low and you sell them when they're high. It's the simplest thing. But until it goes high, you're stuck down here, and every day you will look at your portfolio, because I know that's what we do. Oh, it's not moved. I could have bought this other coin that did move, or maybe I should just FOMO into the coin that's moving. Jasmine's moving, I'll buy that. That's up 100%. I'll buy it now. No. You do have to buy it low. You do have to have the patience with spot. You do have to wait until your low price becomes a high price. So it's just unfortunate, I suppose, for XRP and for those of us who love it and expect more of it, that we're just going to be sitting here and potentially even going down quite a fair bit lower if the market decides it can't handle it. That's a 20% pullback, to a maximum of another 45% pullback, which is why dollar cost averaging is the best strategy for something like this. Because if this does move, and I think it's going to go to its previous all-time high at least, that's a 10x from the lows. It's over a 5x from where we are right now. And that's if it goes to that level. I don't know where it's really going to go. No one really does. I know everybody likes to make these targets, don't they, with these videos saying, XRP is going to $100. You see it on Twitter. Would you sell XRP at $10, $100, or $1,000? Patience will come to us. Profits will come to those who are patient. You get all these sort of things from somebody called the XRP believer on Twitter, or XRP supermaster, or something like that. Hang on a minute, are you telling me you don't have some kind of crazy bias towards XRP, considering that is your name? It's kind of mad. Realistically, what we're looking at is a slow, sluggish chart offering us supports, and I'm suggesting not a futures trade, spot positions. Have it as part of your portfolio. XRP has a history of running very hard. Since it's been going for 10 years, it seems to always do that. The last time it even ran hard in the face of the SEC lawsuit. So that's more or less out the window now. So if it's going to have the freedom to run, it should still run. But XRP does love to accumulate at low levels. It loves to basically disappoint. So I would say it's got to be part of a portfolio. It's got to be part of a spot position. But just don't expect too much of it. And even when it starts to pump, we can't expect too much of it, because we're littered with resistances all the way up. Anyway, hopefully that wasn't too disappointing for you. I know that these videos have to be made sometimes just to put it home. And there's always somebody out there that has some an appetite for a realistic view on XRP. I have made targets in the past, and they're not completely unrealistic, of like $14 or thereabouts, moving up into the teens, which again, it could easily happen. I know it sounds crazy to say that, but it definitely could happen. But right now, all it's offering is buy opportunities at support, and even those aren't particularly hopeful in the short term. They're just another area, if not the first area really, to buy it at a relative low compared to where it's likely to go, which is definitely a few dollars. And I know what you're going to say. Oh, I'm not getting out of bed for a few 100%. Ugh, it's not for me. If you 200, 300, 400, 500%, nah. Go back into your skunk-induced haze and FOMO into some kind of meme coin later on down the line. And that's fine. That's your strategy. It's certainly not mine. Right, I'm going to leave it with you there. But thank you for watching. I hope you have a nice day. And hopefully I'll see you on the Patreon live stream tonight. Yeah, thanks for watching. Take it easy.